All right, everyone. This is Eric from Eric Builds with AI. This is the first video of this channel. I'm going to try to put these videos together in less than 30 minutes. So 20 to 30 minutes, usually during my lunchtime. I got a lot of time to get off, but just to show folks how easy it is to get up and running on this stuff. I've had people reach out that have heard of vibe coding or seen some kind of things I've built quickly or even during hackathons. And, generally it seems like people have heard about it through podcasts or mentioned. Folks I talk to don't use AI nearly as much, but this is a good opportunity in my mind to have folks learn more, see how it could streamline process for them, maybe dabble a little bit in what we're doing, become more confident. So, what we're going to do today is something I've wanted to do for a bit is update my portfolio site. So, I'll have ChatGPT over there on the left. Um, I really like the projects tab where you can kind of keep some instructions in there. I have an artist called Xcopy that I really like his portfolio site. I've already kind of had a couple back and forths about this channel. So, what I kind of wanted this channel to look like, but also um, what I want this channel to look like, but also like what the actual kind of project breakdown would be. So when I put these together, and I'm not going to show you how I typed all this out here, but you have to have a pretty good prompt to just get things going, like what you want to do, generally what you're trying to do. And I like creating the prompt for the vibe coding tools like Replit. And I don't know, maybe they're both vibe coding tools, to be honest with you, but I like to kind of put the prompt in and create it through one tool and stick it in here. So, it kind of, we went back and forth on what I wanted, the different sections of it, how I want to include it. And a big piece of this is to break it down into parts. I think there is a desire once you get in here, just write it all in one prompt, and it won't be put together very well. So, um, write the initial prompt for me to the Replit agent to get started building. And this is kind of, I think, key one. So have a good prompt that's tight, that doesn't do everything. And then I'll show you kind of, this is a little bit actually more wordy than I would have hoped here, to be honest with you. Like, this is like really wild. This is way too wordy and long. Need one clear and concise prompt to get going on first milestone. Sometimes you got to kind of get it back in the box a little bit. Okay, this looks good. Okay, this seems like a reasonable enough place to start. So I'm gonna drop this over here. And then this is the next thing. So you actually can use the Replit tools to improve the prompt. So this is actually going to tailor that initial prompt that you kind of kicked over, um, and make it a little bit more tailored for Replit. So I'm gonna make sure to share this back. I'm gonna start building this because it's gonna take a while. I'm gonna share this back with ChatGPT to know what I actually went through. This kind of just makes sure that you have this like connecting file in between the two tools. And it will kind of help ChatGPT track towards your projects. And so I think a lot of times in Replit, you can kind of get into adding a whole bunch of these things like animated transitions, all this stuff. I recommend that you do the lightest weight possible to get things going. Um, because if you start adding these other things, it just gets bloated and then the code base gets really wonky. So it's good to kind of land the first version of this and then kind of like, iterate from there. So while this is going, this could take, a decent amount of time, honestly, or not, depending on how it goes. But Okay, I'm gonna look over here. This version is excellent. Da, 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 da. Okay, once it delivers the scaffolding. Um, so this has been pretty quick. Uh, it's putting something together. The app looks like it's kind of coming together a little bit. So within this preview, this is, basically as it's putting the code together, what it's going to look like. This is like super dark, and I don't really love the colors. I don't know why I actually chose those colors, to be honest with you, but um, it's going to take a minute to actually put this together, and you can actually look at the console. Oh, okay. I'm not even going to deal with this right now. So you can also see it's kind of putting together the different files here. So like as it's putting it together, it's going to start populating these, which you can actually push to GitHub eventually. But so yeah, it's really not too crazy at this point. You're just kind of waiting. And I could probably edit this to, I don't know, maybe roll to the front, but maybe that's against the the ethos of building this under 30 minutes. Let me get this other next prompt ready based on the milestones you created. What next prompt? I guess like what I like about this too is that you can sometimes let this run and this because this is a brand new project and you can just kind of come back to it in 5 minutes, 10 minutes later, and it's still gonna be like working behind the scenes. So um one of my loyal viewers, even though this just started, is Christine. So shout out to the prompt for getting this going. Had some early kind of call outs for you in this. So, okay. So, style guide. Okay. I'm already gonna kind of get ahead of this because I just don't like this like light blue and black. Light blue and black to dystopian forest palette. Relaxing, meditative. All right, so you really can kind of see it's just jamming out all these pieces here. It looks like you're just kind of like hanging out, and it can feel like that. These are all going to be pretty key files. A lot of it's maybe more or less boilerplate, but this is the agent just writing all its code. It's pretty incredible, to be honest with you. Um, okay, so style guide, hero section. It's still not interactive, but I'm just gonna keep this running. Let's see what else can I do to entertain you here. Um, I also want to create some cool imagery. Uh, so if you kind of go in these tiles here, you can add different, this is searching the web. Um, this is, you can tell it to work with certain things like Terminal or Notion. You can add different pieces in here. Usually this gives you the ability to say, hey, go create images, but maybe they've already updated that. Um, so you have to say it pretty explicitly, generate images for me, site based on project. And I think one of the ways that people use ChatGPT, and my parents initially started doing this, is like more of a search tool. I think after a while, and my wife was telling me I'm starting to talk like this, so maybe something to watch out for, but almost like you're having a conversation with it and saying, generally what you're thinking, even if it doesn't feel like it makes sense, or sorry, it gives a lot of extra context. A lot of times just giving it that kind of je ne sais quoi of what you're trying to do, and this isn't a great example, but it'll give you an idea of, you know, where you're trying to go, and it creates stuff that you didn't expect. So this is definitely not going to be what I want. So I'm already know this is going to be terrible. This was a don't want to go down this hole, honestly. This is kind of useless. That is not the image I wanted. Okay. Well, so this is the prompt of Replit that is coming up with next. Um, this is just like too much fluff, so I'm gonna just like cut this down. Sweet. So view projects. Wow, this looks pretty good. Different web apps, mobile, tools. I mean, this looks pretty solid. So I'm really liking this, to be honest with you. This is pretty incredible. Okay, so let's kind of see where this is going to take us. Um, it looks pretty good.